Today I'm going to be reaching out to the African American community concerning voting. We here again. Let me say it again. We are here again. Right? In Jacksonville, it look like every year they voting for something. Well, I ain't gonna say something. I know exactly what they voting for. And really for to keep a certain amount of people, well, what I call the 200, in the position of power. In Jacksonville, the Jacksonville 200 stay in the position of power. And it's not because that's what they want. It's the citizens of Jacksonville, Florida, regardless of race, is not civic engaged, is not civic engaged in the community. They are not civically engaged in the community. At the present time, I just wanted to reach out to you and talk about voting. As the African American Economic Recovery Think Tank has said many times, voting without civic engagement before and after voting. Right, let me say it again because make sure you understand what I'm saying. Civic engagement before and after you vote is the key component to voting. A lot of people, they vote, especially in the African American community, they vote for popularity, for people they like more than the issues. The African Americans are not engaged in the issues. Well, you can say that all over Jacksonville, because when it comes to civic engagement in Jacksonville, Florida, it's appalling. It's appalling regardless of the nationality. Now, there's community that come together when they want something for themselves. But when it comes to the community at large, everybody got their own little silo doing their own thing. When it comes to the African American community, they are totally not engaged in what's going on. Now, I heard there's about, in the metro, there may be with a million people. You have, they say, about 300,000 African Americans. They don't show up. They are not civic engaged. And for the leadership is concerned, in a meeting that I go, I make sure they understand that a lot of things that's taking place in Jacksonville is because African Americans are not civically engaged in what's going on. That's the way it is. I mean, that's not racism. Yes, Jacksonville has some serious issues all over Jacksonville, because when you talk about opioids, and a lot of people don't like to bring it up, or they just keep it down low, the narrative very low, so a lot of people don't know what it is. They change the name of it too. But we're talking about is opioids and drugs. We're talking about drugs. That's a big problem in Jacksonville. Now, it's not a big problem in the African American community. There's a lot of other pathologies in the African American community that we need to be concerned about. Once again, like I say, in the African American community, the lack of leadership, the lack of African American leadership. And what I mean by that, when I say the lack of African American leadership, what I'm basically talking about is collective. Let me say it again, collective. Whether it be the faith-based, whether it be the politician, whether it be the education. We don't have in the African American community. We don't really have a business community. Yeah, there's some African Americans in town that have businesses, but what I'm talking about, with the amount of people, African Americans in this city, there should be at least 10 to 20 companies that make anywhere from $5 to $10 million a year. Now, if there are some, please inform me. I'm talking about African American companies that making gross. I'm not even talking about net. I'm talking about gross receipt from $5 to $10 million in Jacksonville. But like if somebody has some information, please correct me. Yes. But at the present time here, we want to vote. How people talk about always talking about voting. You have the same African Americans running out talking about voting. But they don't have a plan. My community, well, I'm not saying everybody in the African American community, because the African American Economic Recovery Think Tank provide that information to the community. But they'll talk about the quick pick, but they never talk about what the hell do you want. What about your needs? If you ain't talking about your needs, there's really 4 needs that you have in a community, and that's come to the family, rebuilding the family infrastructure, right? Education, regardless of nationality. But if you're the majority in that area, if you're in the majority, when they for example, the African American community, I see African American should own schools, charter schools, private school. Yes. Now, not just for your church, but I'm talking about for the community. But we'll definitely talk about that later. But the main thing here, the main thing that I want to share with my people, voting. Once again, we do it again. We're doing it again. Voting. We vote with no demands. African American make no demands. I'm talking make no demands. They make no demands in writing about what they want for their community. Yes, in the 4 areas, what I'm saying. Let me go back to that. Right, we'll talk about rebuilding the family infrastructure. That's parents and co-parenting. Number 2, we talking about education. What I'm talking about would be Afrocentric education. Yeah, I'm downtown. Like I say, I'm downtown near right across from the Federal Reserve, watching the money. I'm watching the money. Because keep up with the money will tell you a lot about what's going on in your community. But number 3, right? Preventive. Let me say it again, because I'm slow. I'm one of them Gullah Geechee people. Yeah. Preventive health. Number 4, collective economics. Now that's what we are really missing in the African American community. With us spending, last time I checked, which has been a long time ago, with 2014, New York Life Insurance Company did a survey on the economics of African Americans in Jacksonville. They came up with over $12 billion. Now, like I said, that was in 2012, 2014. Look where we are now. African Americans are making money. Now, what you're doing with your money is the problem. Yes, what you're doing with your money. That's collective economics. With collective economics, groups of people coming together to achieve economic in their community, right? In their district, especially in the urban core. There's opportunities in the urban core. Once again, you got La Villa, right? You got the east side, my people, right? You got Dunn's Avenue. You got Sutil. You got Sutil. You got 26 in Mont Creek. I'm talking about those are business corridors. Those are business corridors where you can create businesses. Don't go with that. Forget about that small business called. It's not a small business to you. So just call it a business. Right? So you have business corridors in the African American community that you can develop. Pull your money together, a few people coming together, at least 3 people or more come together and buy the block. Yeah, buy the block. Just like that. Just buy the block. Just that simple. It's just that simple. Yeah. You get a pastor up in there, you get a business person up in there that know how to do the numbers. You got some label people, everybody chip in. Set up a co-op. A co-op. Yeah, set up a co-op. That's right. Everybody carry the load. We'll talk about that later. But the opportunities are there. So a lot of time in the African American community, because of poor leadership, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about that in the African American community. Yes. They'll talk about voting. They'll talk about racism. Bigotry is really what you need to be talking about. Those are really the evil people in the white community, in the Caucasian community. There's a difference between, racism and bigotry. There's a difference between bigotry and racism. Look it up, people. Look up the difference. Yes. See, because when you're talking about racism, you're talking about more like an attitude. But you talking about bigotry. Let me make sure you understand. When you're talking about murder, I'm going to put it just that simple. That they hate your guts so much, they'll kill you. But right now, my message to my people, we are talking about voting, right? If you want to be successful at voting, it's before, right? Civic engagement before you vote and after you vote, and hold people accountable. That's power. That's real power. Anything else you're talking about ain't nothing but bullshit.